Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey,
And I'm JPatt.
and you're listening to the Box Officers podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please be sure to leave us a star rating or review wherever you're listening to this episode.
Watching a bad movie is like witnessing a serious crime, but have no fear. The box officers are here. Each episode, Kelsey, Georgette, but unfortunately she's absent, and I will review a new movie, and at the end of each episode, we will classify the film according to the severity of the punishment.
Someone can be convicted of a felony, a misdemeanor, an infraction, or on the rare occasion found innocent. This week, we are going to be reviewing the film I Know What You Did Last Summer. So if you have not seen that movie yet, you gotta pause this episode. We're gonna spoil everything. But otherwise, if you have seen it, we can get into the episode. This was my birthday movie. I love seeing movies. It was released on my birthday. Everybody wants a good movie for their birthday.
Disappointed?
Well, maybe I could have stayed at
Yeah.
home. But I guess we could start with our cast, our assembly of stars. I will say the cast, I had no qualms with them. I did not know. So, have you seen the other movies?
I haven't. I haven't. And this is actually like the first time in my life I've ever heard about this movie series. So I was wondering, like, was the first one like a cult classic or something, or was it a hit, or, were people going into this movie having high expectations based off the first two? That's what I was wondering.
Great question.
Yeah.
I personally have not seen them either. I normally do go and watch all of the movies in a franchise before, like reviewing. This time I
Hmm.
didn't, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not going to. So I just feel like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do think it's a very it's known, that as
Yeah, yeah.
amongst the horror community, they are aware.
Okay.
And in part, I feel like a lot of people had some excitement for this one because so many people from the first films were reprising their roles. And I think that's really cool because sometimes people have like cameos, but these people know they were like a part of the story. You had Love Hewitt, a
Yeah.
star, like that alone would incentivize me to go at least watch the movie. But you also have Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie
Yeah.
Prinze
You play
Jr.
Ray.
And I just think, wow, that's so cool. I don't know if anybody else from the first movies were in there outside of our like post credit scene we can get to later, but the
Right.
fact that they were in there and they had like contributing parts, not just like cheap cameos or nostalgia, I thought was really cool.
Yeah. I could tell how they introduced them. They were kind of like, they were kind of from the first two movies, but I liked how they were involved in a more serious way than just being there just for the show.
I know Miss Madeline Klein.
Yep, my
Yeah,
favorite,
I was gonna
the white
say,
girl, my favorite white girl.
I I don't think she can do any wrong in your eyes, but I also love her. I thought she did so well. And I don't know why. I thought like because she is like maybe one of the better known ones of the new people, I thought that she was not going to make it to the end. I don't know why I would make that assumption. I guess I just thought like they could only afford her for like half the movie was my thought.
Yeah,
So I thought it was super cool to see her like full length
yeah.
in a
I was kind of
movie.
certain that I was kind of certain that she'd make it. I mean, there was a part with like in the middle of the movie where I was a little like uncertain. For I feel like she's such an important actress. They wouldn't just kill her off, in my
I
opinion.
thought everybody, I didn't know how they could afford all of these people here at once. So I thought, yeah,
Yeah,
all the people I already know will be killed off.
yeah.
But for those who I didn't know as well, the remaining four in the front group, I thought they all did well in terms of playing their characters for sure.
That your first time seeing them?
Some of them have familiar faces, but I can't place them. Like Sarah Pigeon, I know that I know her, but I don't know why.
Yeah,
She played Stevie,
yeah,
and I can't place her right now. Lola Tongue looks very familiar. I can't place her. Even Chase Wonders looks actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say Jonah, Jonah hauer-king. I definitely have seen his face. I cannot place any of these people right now. I definitely
yeah,
feel like did really well. My issues do not lie in their abilities. And Chase Wonders is who I would say probably is our main character for this movie, and I feel like she did a great job.
yeah. Or what was given. But yeah,
Yeah.
I never saw the first two movies, but I just went into it with an open mind. Like I thought it was just like a new age version of a slasher, you know. Um,
Yes.
I was kind of thinking most of the cast would get like slashed off, or like I guess most of that main group. You know, when they do that thing where they like pick the characters off one by one. I thought it was gonna be like that. There were just so many
In a
different little
way,
twists
it
and
was.
turns. Yeah, yeah, in a way.
I also will say that I love slashers. I love um those kind of like older school kind of horror movies that we don't get as much of anymore, kind of like Scream, or I really like
Mhm.
Halloween, Michael Myers. Do you remember
Yeah,
as Michael Myers for Halloween?
yeah.
And Jason, Freddy, all of these like people that just go around annihilating people one by one. So in like theory or like in premise, I do like the idea of what we were gonna get here. Fortunately, I can't because normally I'll see like one of those movies and then I'll be like, oh, I love that so much. I have to go watch all of them, and then I end up watching them over and over again. And I don't believe that'll be happening this time.
Yeah.
Did you like outside of the acting? Was there something that we liked about this movie?
And I wouldn't say it's all hate with this movie. It's really kind of in between for me. I did like the setting. I liked the, of course, I like the characters. I also like, I say I liked most of the movie up until like halfway. It kind of just started to fall flat, and it was almost as if it was skipping ahead on itself. Like it'd be like, okay, how did he get to this location? What is this character doing now? It started feeling as if it was like, I don't know, it wasn't having a fluid plot. It's like people just started dropping like flies or dying out of nowhere. I don't, yeah, it just kind of like I was locked in with it, and then I just lost it halfway through the movie, and then that's when I was like, they did they like lose some money? Like something happened to the
I
budget?
so
Uh,
bad.
yeah, but I did like the characters. I'd have to say my favorite character was the rich boy. He was the guy next to Milo.
Yeah, he did so great. Teddy,
Yeah,
played
Teddy.
by
Yeah, yeah.
Tyreek Withers, he
Yeah,
did a
I
great
liked
job.
his character because he wasn't like the typical jerk or whatever. You know, he had his little flaws and stuff, but he actually like cared about the girl. And then it kind of like annoyed me, like they just killed him off so quickly. Like I was just kind of like, oh, okay,
He made it halfway through the movie. All of them did, but I will say I liked the acting of him. I feel like he was one of the ones who was more believable. Sometimes I see people and I'm like, I see someone giving a performance, and then sometimes I'm watching someone and I forget that they're like playing a
yeah,
role. I
that
feel
might be
like he was
why.
very believable to
Yeah,
me.
that I liked him.
Yeah, and I will say like it's not all hate for me either. Something that I really like, I think you said too, you liked the movie up until halfway through it. I really liked the movie in general in the sense that it was a good slasher whodunit. I love a whodunit. That's one of my favorite like categories.
Yeah,
And I genuinely was wrong. Like I did not know who was, well, who like as in two people
like who
were the
was the
killers.
killer?
Right. And I don't know, I feel like I do okay at that kind of guessing stuff, but this time they really blew my mind, and
Hmm.
they really took advantage of the last like 40 minutes of the movie, fleshing out that part, because I think the first half we're so focused on the fact that people are dying. It's almost, I don't know. We didn't
Yeah,
really see the investigation part of it until the end. And I thought it
Yeah.
was like pretty well done. And it was interesting. And I did find myself feeling engaged the whole movie, even with like one, just the suspense or the mysterious aspect of like who is doing this, but two, it's just a scary movie. They're gonna have in a slasher, cheap jump scares. These didn't feel cheap to me. I felt like there was one time I let out a little squeal very quietly, very demure, very mindful, but a little yelp because I mean, I'm easily scared, so I don't know if that's even saying much, but I personally remember like hands over the eyes. And if you're gonna make a slasher, you're gonna make a scary movie, you need to have people in the audience responding in this way, or you didn't do your job. So I would say they did that pretty well.
Yeah. I I'm not too I don't think I was too much a fan of the reveal at the end. I can't lie.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
were
I
you
guess
saying that
not.
you
No.
were or
I was a fan of the build up or like more so who was revealed as opposed to how they were revealed. It seemed like, okay, this was really thought out. And I was not able, maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough, but I was not able to track like, oh, it's so obvious that it's these two people. Like, so I like the who, not necessarily the what
you
for
you mean
either
the
of them.
you didn't like how it was revealed? That's what you said?
Yeah, for Stevie, I thought that was like okay-ish, but for um
Yeah,
Ray,
for
I was
Ray.
literally like, whoa, this is coming out of nowhere. And he just like started tweaking
Yeah.
and I
That
don't
did
know,
kind of catch me off guard.
it's very much true to the trope though. Like, you have a slasher film, it's a bunch of kids in a small town near the water, and there's a bunch of people who have lived there their whole lives. Like, of course, it's gonna be one of these guys. Like,
Right.
it's very true. And then, of course, you have the girl, and she's sitting there acting normal, and then it dawns on her what's happening. And she tries to casually leave, and the killer is like, haha, psych, you're not leaving. It
Yeah.
was very on beat with like how it should go. Um, I'm not gonna say they should have done it differently, I guess, but not my favorite reveal in the world, of course.
Yeah. It did throw me off though that they had a survivor from one of the original movies turn into the killer for this movie. I was like, wow, like they actually pulled the trigger on it.
It
I was
happens
thinking,
sometimes.
yeah, I think in the moment, what was I thinking? Um, because I know that what's her name? The lady who played Julie James.
Uh-huh.
She was from the original movies, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess she had looked at something, I can't remember, and then she realized who the killer was or something like that. I was like, gonna go with that. I just felt like I was like, are they trying to say that it's Ray? I thought there was gonna be another, character or something introduced or some twist, but I guess Ray was a twist, and that's when I was like, oh, they actually took it that direction. I personally haven't seen that in any movies anytime recently. Like it doesn't come to memory. I thought he would at least been killed off, like sacrifice himself, something like that.
I have seen movies where the person from like the prequels ends up being a bad guy later on, but I did not think like, okay, once they revealed it was Stevie, I thought that was it. So when Julie hears that or sees on the TV whatever that it was Stevie and she's automatically like, oh, Ray helped her. I was like, okay, I don't know how she made that connection, but I'm gonna just roll with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I will say that initially I think I thought it was either Julie or I didn't even have another guess. I don't know why I thought it was
yeah.
Julie at one point. She hadn't done anything, but
Yeah.
that was my only guess. Outside of that, I genuinely had no idea. I did think though, I did definitely think it was the pastor, but I was
Pastor, I was about to
thinking
say that.
it's a little early, so low key, why would they
Uh-huh.
tell us this early? And that's when I was like, okay, let's back off of this idea. But I really thought it was Julie. And outside of
Actually,
that, nothing. So they
yeah.
fooled me twice, which that kind of sucks. You haven't seen these people in a while, and the one night you hang out with them, they kill your friend. Like that's kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't
actually,
kill him.
yeah,
That's
but
that whole beginning, Loki didn't even make sense because I feel like he shouldn't have been standing in the street. But you didn't
for
actively kill anyone. I guess they were trying to say it was manslaughter, but
yeah. That's what I was
I don't
thinking
know.
because I'm like, if I was in that position, I'd call the cops, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't see myself as, oh, I caused this wreck. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say
Like,
I did it. do anything. I'm just
Yeah.
here. But I guess they're saying that's like manslaughter because you can't stand around, and they were saying it's like a death curve or something, like so many people died there or
Okay.
whatever. So they're like, why would you stand in the middle of the street knowing that people are going to come around this corner and swerve
Yeah.
and probably die like everybody else? So I guess they were going to charge him with manslaughter was his thought. And he was like, no, I'm not going to
Mm.
jail. But I don't know. I know me, I would have called the police and been like, I just saw them fly off the
Yeah.
road. What was
Like
I supposed to do? But I don't know.
and I'm not sure why they were like, let's go down there and help him. I'm like, when I saw the shot
You
of
can't.
down there, it was like water, like ocean.
That was stupid to
Uh,
me too. I was like, why
yeah.
would you go?
And
But
then
that
on
makes
top of
sense why
that,
Stevie was so upset because
yeah,
she thought it was her pastor at first, but
she thought it
because
was
remember
Wingman.
the boy stole, he didn't steal, but he was using the pastor's car. So she just sees the car and thinks it's her pastor, which is why she was so like, we need to help this person. And then later on, they find out that the owner of the car was not the driver, it was somebody else. And that's when she found out it was her
Mm.
friend. So double whammy.
Yeah. Shoot, I'm wondering, like, I mean, they saw the first car come through. I don't know why they didn't see the second or hear
They
it.
did. That boy was being stupid. He just was not moving. I personally would have pushed him out the way or been like, okay, well, now I'm
Huh?
leaving, so stay here by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
but I will say I did not like the script, and I think that that
Yeah.
is one of the biggest things I disliked, like the writing. And like the plot is okay. The plot was actually okay, like I would say good almost, but the writing
It
is
was, yeah.
hard to listen to, bro. I was sitting there, I looked at my sister and I was like, am I tripping or is this weird? It was
Yeah.
like someone typed in chat GPT, hey, sound like a person born in 2002. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
facts. Because I was thinking, I'm like, because the plot is really good. It's actually pretty good. But I feel like they didn't put the movie together enough. It started flowing all choppy to me, like halfway through the movie. I guess the scene that comes to mind when I think about it is like Teddy's whole death. It's like first he's at the gym, he goes to the sauna, and then he sees the whole thing on the bathroom. It's like, about, I know, you're next or something like that. And then next time we see him, well, he's just sitting down drinking, and then you see this shadow in the hallway wherever he is, and he walks down there, and then the, the killer, he's like acting like the statue, I guess.
I did look at my sister during that part, and I said, "Am I tripping, or was he not standing right there?" But that's when
Yeah.
I have to kind of like turn my brain off for these movies because it seems like the killer is always right there. They're wearing like boots, bro. You can't hear any shuffling on the ground. Nobody ever sees the killer. Nobody ever hears him coming. And I feel like that's just like part of this genre, I guess. But it definitely, yeah, I that specific scene got me too because I'm like, am I like I don't know. Even if it's dark, I feel like can you not see someone standing like 2 feet away from you? I don't know.
Right. No, for real. And who died first? I believe was it Milo who died first in the group?
And
Or
yeah, technically,
yeah,
yeah. In the group,
technically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you had the goth girl, the one who was like she had her little podcast. I was like, oh look, Kelsey, she has a podcast too. But I kind of wish they kept her in the movie,
Yeah.
because I liked the character that she added to the film. But like,
Extremely convenient though.
yeah, it was convenient, but she got killed off quick. And it was like Milo, and then Teddy, and then the pastor, I believe. It was like in the last 40 minutes of the movie, everybody started like dropping like flies, or
Yeah.
at least the guys
Which
did. That's why I text you that word. I'm like, dang, everybody that died, and it was just like the whole male cast. But
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. But I think they saved all of that towards the end to like kind of build up,
mm,
to that climax and then come down from that, which I think is fine. I didn't like the script in the sense of like the language used, but the plot for me was fine. And I don't know if I've ever seen a movie where I thought the plot was like so vastly, because normally you have good plot good script, bad plot, bad script. Like, they're kind of in the same area for me. I feel like this is the first time where I'm like, use of language or the writing was so vastly different than the plot. It's almost
Yeah.
like, how can someone come up with this plot and their dialogue not match? Like, because this is like the same person is writing this out. So it's like, I don't know if somebody built the storyboard and then said, "Hey, you write it." I don't know what happened there, but
Yeah.
that's where I got confused.
I did see the tomato score.
Oh yeah,
Like,
what was
yeah.
that?
Oh,
Do you
what was it? It was
remember?
like 39% Rotten
I think I
Tomatoes.
put it. Yep,
Yeah.
39%.
Damn. And I think IMDb
Yep.
kind of felt the same way, felt the exact same way I did about it. Rating
What
wise, they gave it like a 5.7 out of 10.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very fair. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people online I thought were going to feel the way that I felt. And I don't know, anytime I try to find these tweets, to an extent, the algorithm is curated to me, but I didn't like
Hmm.
this movie. So I don't know why I was seeing everyone disagree with me. Someone on Twitter said, I
Really?
thoroughly enjoyed the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. IDK what people are complaining about. Really fun summer slasher. The new crop of teens was wonderfully obnoxious and hot. Nice to see some of the OGs back for it too. It was a solid slasher for me. I also thought it was like, okay, well, so I'll give him this. I feel like, yes, it was a solid slasher movie. I agree with that. But in terms of what people are complaining about, it was fun slasher, but poor use of language and dialogue. I really could. It was distracting the first half of the film. The only reason I wasn't distracted the second half is because I was so focused on people dying that I
Right.
was not processing the words as much. But because they didn't have enough of that, like in the beginning, I was really like the bridal shower I think happened at the beginning, and there was like an engagement party at the beginning. Everything said during those things, I was like, I don't believe a human wrote it. I'm being for real. That's why I was complaining.
It was that weird. It didn't throw me
It
off
was
too
really
much.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could not stand it almost.
I wish
I
I
don't
could hear
know.
it again just to like listen in, but I guess
It was weird.
I was looking at like scenery and setting of it so much because that's when I text you guys. I was like, I want to go to Martha's Vineyard. I want to be rich, like all that. So maybe I was just distracted by all of that.
I'm glad that I saw your message beforehand because I was looking for all of the beautiful rich people things while I was
Yeah.
watching because you had said that. And I was like, get the appeal for sure. One day, if you guys support the podcast enough, maybe we could all go on a
Right.
boat together.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one of us can be the killer too.
Well, well, yeah.
The next tweet we found says, I Know What You Did Last Summer is one of the greatest legacy sequels. I highly disagree with that. With excellent kills, a thrilling pace, and a fantastic ensemble, notably Love Hewitt and Prince Jr., who delivered some of the best parts of the movie, is undeniably a perfect summer slasher classic. And I don't think, no. One of the
No,
greatest legacy sequels is crazy.
no.
So
But my thing is, it was a good sequel. Like, okay, well, no, because they're not even limiting it to slashers. Legacy sequels, period,
yeah,
is
that's
kind
what I
of
said.
crazy.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you were like one of the greatest slasher sequels, I'd be like, okay,
Hmm.
it was a really good movie, I guess. Once you look past everything that was wrong with it, like it has good bones.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think it has good bones. I think it has beautiful skin, bad bones. But I, yeah, they're glazing. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, do you see his thing says Juan box office expert?
Box office
Like his username?
expert. Yeah, I see it.
That is so funny. Well, Juan, if you're gonna be
Yeah,
an expert in this box office, I
right.
don't know. We're gonna have to
You
refine
cannot
some of those opinions.
you cannot impersonate a police officer with opinions like that.
No, but I agree with the last part where he says Love Hewitt and Prince Jr.
Yeah.
delivered some of the best parts of the movie. Absolutely,
Yeah, like we
100%.
said, like the actors and actresses were great. Like, and of course, Madeline, I know her from OBX. That's where like I first like found her. But I feel like she's like just one of the up and coming new generation of actresses. I feel like she's just gonna keep doing bigger things. And I think this is one of her biggest movies yet. Probably is like one of her biggest appearances in film so far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I agree with good pacing, fantastic ensemble, but Greatest Legacy sequels were reaching, and that's
that's
okay.
nuts.
Now, I will say to defend my perspective, because they're gonna be like, "How of all the tweets on Twitter did you find this one?" I looked for it. I scrolled until I found somebody saying what I wanted them to say. Sorry,
What they say.
it's my show. I can do what I want. This one, okay, they're going against me, but I was glad because it within it supports my perspective. Everyone mad at the "I know what you did last summer" dialogue. I'm sorry, but it's very real and current. Just like how the OG movie is a 1997 time capsule. In 10 years, people will look back on this movie and remember how kids used to talk in 2025. That's the point. Okay, I liked it because I'm like, so you agree that everyone is mad at it, not just me? Because I thought that I was going crazy and I was on an island by myself. Apparently, I'm not. However, if you can, it's not the use of like popular slang or whatever that is the
Yeah,
issue. How you're using it. If you're not
yeah,
using it in a way that flows naturally or is even at times accurate, then it doesn't matter what you're saying if you're trying to use this as a time capsule. There's ways to do it in like you can be true to the year that we're in and
yeah,
still have good writing. It's not like good writing. That's the
yeah.
problem. The dialogue was written poorly. Nobody's against you using the word, like you can say something's lit if you want to. That's
He
I'm not gonna
did.
fight you.
Yeah, you did just
But
trigger my memory now. Yeah, you did say that. I remember. Teddy said that
yeah,
in the car, right? Somebody said that in the car. Yeah, you
yeah.
did just trigger my
But
memory of
I
that.
the first 30 minutes, it was just like trigger words being thrown out constantly. And
Yeah,
my thing is, if you use them correctly or you use them in a relevant context or even just naturally flowing dialogue, that's fine. I feel like we are, I mean, very, very, very much the senior citizens of Gen Z. And I feel
definitely.
like we use some of those words. And I don't think I've ever heard y'all use it in conversation. And I was like, "Hey, are you okay?" That was concerning. I thought they were all on drugs, and at a certain point they were, but like
You having a
I
stroke?
don't know. They were talking in the way that I would if there were aliens and they were trying to pretend to be human.
Yeah, trying to
That's
learn
how
it.
they would talk.
Yeah,
So it's not a problem to try to be like accurate to the times we're in. I just don't think they did it well. That's all.
yeah,
You can do it,
yeah,
but do it better.
yeah. That's fair. Are you ready to give your final verdict? Are you ready to drop the ball? I'm
Well,
interested. I want
yes,
to hear what you want
I
to say.
am.
You got to go first this time. I know what
I
I'm gonna
am
say.
going to give it, I think I know what you're going to say. I'm going to give it a very, very light misdemeanor because
Hmm.
the script is like such a big part of the movie. I hate it because it's like in general, like I guess I've only made one big complaint and it's referring to the dialogue. But
Yeah,
imagine I was blind. That's all I have is the dialogue. And even then, like the dialogue is what makes a movie. A movie is a script being like played out for us. So if I don't like the dialogue, I don't like the script, I don't like the movie. So I hate that that was so distracting for me. And then also at times, I think it's a classic slasher, but there's a difference between being classic and following like a trope and being true to what you're supposed to be and being corny. At times, it veered into the corny box just a little bit, splashed
yeah.
around in the pool, came back. But I think there were parts of it that were super strong, which is why I wouldn't give it a strong misdemeanor. And I definitely wouldn't give it a felony. I feel like in general, the movie had like some cool parts. But my sister told me, she said we need to add the death penalty to our ratings for this movie specifically. Um, and I don't know, I left feeling like parts of it were a bit ridiculous. 70% of my complaints go to the script though. But I thought the writing, while that was a thumbs down, the acting, they did the best they could with the script they were given. The
Yeah.
cameos were meaningful. And I thought that the kills were shocking and it had the right amount of suspense, the right amount of jump scares. So if there was something between a misdemeanor and an infraction, I would give it that. But because there's not, I'm gonna give you a misdemeanor. I feel like Tyra Banks. Have you seen that video where she's like, I can't give you a zero, so I give you a one.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And that's how I feel right now. Like, so I can't give you whatever is after an infraction, so I'm gonna give you a misdemeanor.
I'm going to give it a solid misdemeanor. Like, yeah, like you kind of getting up there. I'm gonna give it a solid misdemeanor. Yeah, just right in the middle. So, and I'm gonna give it that just because, like, I remember halfway through the movie, and like I said, halfway through the movie, I felt like it just started going flat. Halfway through the movie, I was just kind of like, this is my afternoon, like
Mm.
I had stuff to do afterwards, and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna sit down, enjoy this movie, because I was going into it blind. I'd never seen, the series, and from the TikToks I saw and some of the reviews, I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be like pretty good. Like somebody was like, what they comment? They said it wasn't bad, it was pretty good, and they went into it thinking that it was gonna be bad. So I'm like, okay, like this is a movie series I haven't heard about. I'm walking into it blind, but people are enjoying it. So I'm like, man, this is gonna make my day even better. And I remember halfway through the movie, I was just kind of like I guess it got to a point where it started getting ridiculous for me because it had me hooked at first. It had me hooked after Madeline's character. She received a note and it was like, I know what you did last summer. And then she kind of freaked out at her little bridal party or whatever. And then the guy she was supposed to get married to, he died. And then that's when, they went to Teddy. And I'm like, okay, I was getting hooked. I'm like, who could it be? We like a whodunit, you know. I guess I like a whodunit. I don't watch a lot of those too often, but I was like, who put that note there? You know what I'm saying? And it it hit like a little peak for me, and then it was like boom. And I think it started going down right after. For me, I feel like it was right after Milo died. I think that's when it started going down for me. I'm like, dang, they killed my boy Milo. And what did he say? He said something like, "You can punish her." I'm like, yeah, who wrote this? Yeah, yeah, it was the writing. He's
Yeah,
over here talking about
yeah,
you can punish her. And yeah, it
yeah.
started going downhill for me after that. Yeah, it just kind of it got a little better right at the end, but after that I was just kind of like tapped out. So I'm gonna give it a pretty solid misdemeanor. I feel like if I saw it again, I'd probably notice the writing even more, and then it'd be a heavier misdemeanor.
Yeah.
You know, for its sake, I won't do that. But yeah,
Maybe,
solid misdemeanor is fine.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm like, were we just not the target audience or something? Because we feel very
maybe.
strongly about it, but I also saw people online were very much satisfied or even,
Right.
I don't know. They were happy to have seen it and they enjoyed it. They liked it even. And some people saw it multiple times and I'm like, maybe I was not in mind when they made this movie. Maybe it wasn't for me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe it's like a
So,
real like Gen Z type of thing. Like I'm not sure how the little
or
freshmen and stuff talk these days, but I mean your sister said that she wasn't
also,
messing with it. That's the crazy part.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I also think that a lot of it is probably related to the nostalgia. I will say, as
Uh-huh.
someone who is very wary of bringing back people for, I don't know, to reprise a role later in a sequel, I think they did that very well. I can only imagine if I were watching one of my favorite movies and somebody from before had not a cameo, but like a part that strong, it would really move me. So
Yeah.
I can see how maybe that's important for some people. You're here like 30 years later getting this. I'm sure it's amazing. So that's probably half of it. But we're not here to judge the franchise. We were here to judge what we watched a few days ago. So
Yeah.
sorry to everyone, but we're the officers and we're laying down the law and this is what we're saying. I don't
What does it
know.
say? I'm looking at some of these tomato reviews. Somebody said I'm seeing a lot of these reviews. They're talking about how it reminds them of the 1997 film.
That's nostalgia. That's not
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. I mean, there's the tomato reviews. A majority of them are bad, but when they do talk about something good, it's just that nostalgia. You know what I'm saying?
I think they did that well also, and I didn't even see the old movies, but even I can objectively recognize like that's a great use of a reprised role. And they had a few of them and they did it very well and it was super strong. So I'm gonna agree with that. But overall, we're here for this movie and if it can't stand
Yeah,
alone on its own, then is it how good could it be?
got no legs. Yeah, but that's my final
Sorry.
verdict. If you want to argue with me, take it to the court, because that's the punishment I'm giving this movie. And I feel like it was a lot on the table. I feel like he could have done a whole lot better at some parts, and I would have been satisfied. But I think after just a few misses, that's when I was like seeing all the flaws in it. I think it took a few misses, and then I started picking it apart. And that's when I started picking it apart, and I'm like, I'm not liking it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, what can we say? If you have two box officers that have the same opinion, we can't be wrong. I know we said we were the officers, but we are also judge and jury. We really appreciate you guys listening to this episode. If you have any thoughts, please let us know. We're always looking forward to you agreeing or disagreeing with us. And you guys have been way more active, especially on TikTok. We love chatting with you guys in the comments. It's always debate time. Next week, we are going to be reviewing Fantastic Four. So we hope that you guys
it's time.
also go watch it because we're really excited.
It's
And
time.
yeah, we hope that we still have these smiles on our faces after watching it. Yeah, we'll be back
Yeah.
to discuss a new movie with you guys next week.
All right. Peace.